When someone asks you a simple, harmless question about your childhood, why is your first instinct to freeze as if you've been asked to recall a past life you never actually lived? It's not that your memory is failing you, and it's certainly not because your early years were boring or devoid of events. You freeze because somewhere between the ages of 7 and 17, yet your brain was forced to perform a brutal high-speed bypass of about 15 essential chapters of human development. While the masses were busy being messy, protected, and blissfully irresponsible, your neural architecture was being hijacked by a reality that demanded you become an adult, long before you were biologically ready. If you grew up as the reliable one, the peacemaker, or the silent emotional anchor of your household, you didn't just have a busy childhood, you underwent a forced biological restructuring that is still pulling the strings of your life today. Society looks at you and sees a high achiever, a calm leader, and a person who has it all together. But this maturity you wear like a badge is actually a sophisticated psychological scar. Today, we are dissecting the clinical machinery of parentification, the silent, high-level trauma of growing up too fast, and the massive biological bill that is now coming due in your adulthood. We are going to dive deep into the dysregulation of your HPA-axis, the specific way your prefrontal cortex was overdeveloped for survival, and why you are pathologically attracted to broken people who feel like a familiar mission. To understand why you can't remember the details of being a kid, we have to look at how your nervous system literally changed its shape to survive. An environment where the adults were effectively absent. The clinical term is parentification, but that dry academic label fails to capture the visceral reality of a 10-year-old child holding up the emotional sky for an entire family. Whether you were making dinner for your siblings while a parent worked a double shift, or acting as the emotional translator during a toxic divorce, your brain was forced to exit play mode and enter war mode permanently. In a standard issue childhood, the brain's primary job is exploration and social learning. This is the period where the hippocampus and amygdala learn how to process safety. But in your world, safety was never a guarantee. It was a variable that depended entirely on your ability to manage the moods of the people around you. Research by Dr. Lisa M. Hooper has shown that parentified children don't actually become mature in the healthy developmental sense. They develop what we call survival adaptation. Your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, was forced to take over the functions that should have been managed by adults. You didn't learn to read social cues for fun. You learned to read them because knowing the exact vibration of a door closing was the only way to predict safety. This created a brain that's exceptionally good at hyper-attunement, the ability to sense a shift in a person's heart rate or tone of voice before they even realize they're angry. But this superpower was never meant to be a gift. It was a desperate defensive measure that cost you your ability to feel safe in the silence. The most provocative truth about your strength is that it isn't a personality trait. It is a chronic state of high-level hypervigilance. While the average person can walk into a social gathering and just exist, your brain is running a background security audit on every person, every exit, and every potential conflict. This is why you struggle with the simplest human experiences, like asking for help. You are allowing yourself to be genuinely silly without a sense of impending doom. In your early operating system, resting was equated with neglect, and needing help was a sign that the entire fragile structure of your life was about to collapse. Your brain treats being carefree as a dangerous luxury. The moment you stopped being useful was the moment things started to fall apart. This has left you with what researchers call allostatic load, a bone-deep tiredness that sleep can't touch. Because your nervous system has been running on a 24/7 crisis loop since elementary school. Let's talk about the cynical way this shows up in your adult relationships. Because this is where the theft of your childhood becomes a recurring debt. You find yourself chronically attracted to partners who are emotionally unavailable, fixer-uppers, or people who seem to have a permanent cloud over their heads. Society calls this having a big heart or being loyal, but from a clinical perspective, this is a trauma repetition loop. For a parentified child, being needed was the only form of love that was recognizable, predictable, and safe. If someone doesn't need fixing, your brain doesn't know how to interact with them. You feel invisible. Consistent, healthy, and stable love feels wrong to you because your brain is waiting for the other shoe to drop. You are homesick for the chaos because the chaos is the only environment where your survival skills make you feel valuable. If a partner is actually functional and supportive, it triggers a deep existential crisis because it forces you to face the fact that you don't know who you are without a mission. This leads to a savior complex that isn't built on ego. It's built on the fear that if you aren't useful, you aren't worth loving. This is the price of usefulness that the modern world refuses to acknowledge, even while it exploits you for it. The corporate world and society at large absolutely love people who grew up too fast because we are the ultimate low-maintenance workers. Employers will celebrate your grit and your leadership, but they will never ask what it cost you. You have become a master of emotional labor, conducting the orchestra of everyone else's feelings. And while your own internal needs are locked in a soundproof room. But this constant gating of other people's stress leaves you feeling profoundly alone. You are currently grieving a version of yourself that never got to exist, the messy, irresponsible child. The last realist insight here is that you cannot think your way out of this. You have to biologically recalibrate. You are a human being, not a human doing. It means learning to be a beginner at being taken care of, letting someone else hold the weight. The danger you were protecting your family from is gone, but your brain is still standing at the door with a sword. Reclaiming your identity starts with the radical decision to prioritize your own being over everyone else's doing.